Hey everybody, welcome to the February 12th edition from the View from the Pew Daily Podcast, the Sports Edition. I'm Chris Pugh. Welcome aboard. Wanted to start today, some thought over the Super Bowl. Record-breaking attendance numbers. The game kind of stunk, to be honest with you. Philadelphia won 40-22, but the game really wasn't that close. I mean, Philly was up 34 to nothing. Not many people liked the game. The game wasn't super exciting. People didn't like the halftime show. Not a whole lot to watch, in the opinion of some people out there, but people still watched it. 126 million. The previous record was 123.7 million. So again, NFL's big business. Even if people don't like the game, they're still going to want to watch it. That's why it's huge right now. So congratulations, NFL. You're continuing to amaze a lot of people out there. One thing I thought was interesting, Tubi was able to broadcast part of the Super Bowl. They were able to pick up the feed from Fox. Tubi is owned by Fox. This was kind of a way of telling people more about Tubi. It's a free service, and they're like, hey, sign up for Tubi, and you get to watch the Super Bowl on streaming. And you know what? There was a 26-second delay, which is actually the shortest lag of any service. Now, I don't know. You might be excited about that. I'll be honest with you, it's still a little bit awkward. If you follow a game on Twitter or on social media, just like if you're 26 seconds behind, sometimes that could be a lot right now. But it's interesting. Tubi was the shortest lag of any service, and right now we talk about stuff like Netflix and other things like that. They have a long lag time, or the stream doesn't work too often. Hey, at least Tubi's doing better, but I really think more could be done to make it better. But hey, at least Tubi is doing a little bit better than some of the other services out there. Other interesting stuff. There was a lot of conversation about this after the game. Obviously, the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift has dominated the news, dominated football news for a lot of us football fans. We kind of get tired of it. Seems like we're oversaturated with Kelce and Taylor Swift news. I'll be honest. I did not like some of the. A lot of people are like, "Oh, maybe they'll break up because the Chiefs lost the game." Whatever the case might be, it seemed like people were piling on, and maybe they're piling on because there's way too much emphasis being placed on Kelce. So maybe you're like, hey, if everyone made a big deal when they win, let's make a big deal when they lose. But I really thought some of the social media attacks were a little bit over the line. Kelce took the loss hard. Any of us would. I mean, good night. If you're, up for promotion, you don't get it, you're going to be disappointed. If you're looking for the biggest award in your job and you don't get it, you're going to be disappointed. Same thing for Kelce. He was playing for Super Bowl. I know he's won 2 in a row, but could you imagine? They'd be the first team ever to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. It's got to be a little disappointing when he didn't win. So let's understand that. And, I wonder what happens to Kelce in the future. He looked a little slower. He looked a little older. I don't know what's going on. But again, let's don't make fun of Travis Kelce as a person. It's just tough night for Kelce, and let's lay off Kelce, if you know what I mean. This was interesting news. We've reported on this in the past, and there's been some conversation about what's going to happen with some of NFL's properties. There was some talk saying they were interested in selling it to like a third-party vendor, most notably stuff like Red Zone, which is, if you don't know, it's a service where you can watch all the games in real time. They'll switch it around where it'll show exciting plays live. Sometimes you can watch 4 games at once. It's a little bit hyperactive, a little ADD, but it's kind of fun to watch. There's talk that Red Zone could be sold, possibly ESPN. The deal was dead for a long time. Now they're talking again. What would that mean? I think the NFL, I like how in past years they made red zone available if you're a premium subscriber to NFL Plus. If they ever get sold to ESPN, I can see it being part of ESPN's new standalone deal or package. Would that I know ESPN's standalone streaming package is probably going to be 25, $30 at least. Would having the ability to have red zone on it make it a little bit more appealing? Let me know what you think in the comments. I will tell you, for me, I am kind of intrigued about what's happening here. NFL, the offseason moves are beginning. The NFL is a great sport. It never slows down. And, we'll definitely talk about some of the rumors and some of the free agent moves. But one of the moves that's starting to happen or being negotiated is what happens with our broadcasters, our analysts. Dan Orlovsky is a popular analyst from ESPN. His contract's over. What's going to happen? He made some comments on First Take where he appears to talk about the NFL, saying, "Hey, it's been real, guys. May not be back. Love you guys if I'm not back." What happens with Orlovsky in the future? If he doesn't stay at ESPN, I think he's a good enough analyst where other places would like him. And here's the other thing. Orlovsky really wants to get back in coaching. Could he become a coach somewhere? You hear a lot of conversations about that too. So if Orlovsky doesn't stay at ESPN, he'll have a job. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But it's going to be intriguing. One other guy I was intrigued by in the NBA is Brandon Ingram. I was a big Brandon Ingram fan when he started his career with the Lakers. There was talk, with LeBron, where's he going to go? He eventually got traded as part of the Anthony Davis trade. So he went to New Orleans for a while. They were the Hornets and now they're the Pelicans. Well, Brandon Ingram got hurt. And, when he's hurt, sometimes guys don't want him. So Ingram's been on the trade block for a long time. He got traded during the trade deadline to Toronto. And we're trying to wonder what's going on. I mean, he's been out for a while. There's talk he might be back sometime in the second half of the year. But the Raptors, they're like, hey, well, let's bring him in and let's pay him. They just signed him to a 3-year, $120 million extension. So the Raptors' big three is going to be Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, and RJ Barrett. And you might be like, whoa, it's not as big of a three as other people. Well, that's how the Raptors are building their team. When healthy, Ingram's a good scorer. But again, I underline when healthy. Are you comfortable paying 3 years, $120 million to somebody who's not always healthy? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm intrigued to see what the future is for Ingram and how it's going to go with the Raptors. Do you love the scraps? Sports talk is getting into hey, here's my hot take about something. Cam Newton made some news. He got signed to ESPN. You're seeing him a lot more on there. He has a popular podcast. Well, he was talking about coming to Carolina. And I believe it was on the Travis Hunter podcast. Heck, even college highly thought draft picks that podcast now. And he said, look, before I came to Carolina, and he was drafted there in 2011, he called them losers. So the team lacked a winning mentality before he arrived. And, that fired up Steve Smith Sr., who was playing for the Panthers before. Came, and they were going back and forth on social and otherwise. Hey, we're not losers. And look, it's hard. Kind of fighting terms if you want to call somebody a loser. I get that. But look, the Panthers got the number one draft pick for a reason. This is the NBA when you win a draft lottery. They didn't win that much. So maybe calling them losers is a little bit over the top. But there's a reason why they got the first round draft pick. So, and again, it's just older football players yelling at each other. But, kind of interesting to see what the perspective is about that. Let me know about what you think about the Panthers. Were they losers before Cam Newton came? I always wasn't the biggest Cam Newton fan, but Cam Newton turned fortunes around for Carolina. He actually got them to the Super Bowl. Um, so kind of interesting. Was it Cam Newton that made them winners, or was it just the team coming together? Kind of interesting to think about. For me, I think a lot of times quarterback is what really drives the team. So not that there was anything bad about the Panthers before Cam Newton came, but having a skilled quarterback definitely helps you make a better team. We talked about this the other day, but it's finally here. Kellen Moore was named the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Congratulations, Kellen Moore. Kind of a resurgence for Kellen Moore. He did well for the Chargers. He went to the Cowboys. He and Mike McCarthy weren't always on the same page. Uh, he was kind of looking for a new opportunity. Then he came to Philadelphia. Um, Kellen Moore's always been a pass-friendly offensive coordinator. Well, when you get a guy like Saquon Barkley joining you, you're willing to run, and you run good. Well, uh, he led the team to a Super Bowl title. Are the Saints the best fit for Kellen Moore? Saints have some issues. They got David Carr who can throw the ball. They got some good young receivers. Can Kellen Moore make them better? I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens with Kellen Moore and the Saints. Some good news. Cleveland was named a finalist for the Special Olympics USA Games in 2030. My heart is always full when it comes to Special Olympians. My son actually participates in a Special Olympics basketball team here in the Columbus area, and just love to see what they do for special needs kids. And it's great to see that Cleveland's being considered um, to host the USA games. Hopefully, they're able to get that. It should be exciting. The last two cities are up for the award is Cleveland and Nashville. We're rooting for Cleveland, but most of all, we're rooting just for the Special Olympics USA games. We're excited to go on, and we're excited that local towns being considered to host them. So, good news all around. I like the Pat McAfee show. One guy, you always see like former players, can you make that transition to be an announcer or be an analyst? Austin Rivers has had some funny moments on Pat over the years, and it looks like Austin's got a new gig. He's joining NBC Sports as an analyst. NBC Sports does a lot of college basketball games, especially on Peacock. And pretty soon you'll see him be the analyst for Indiana against Michigan State. Congratulations, Austin Ward. He's got a great basketball mind, and he's got a great sense of humor, too. Looking forward to watching him do games for Peacock and NBC in addition to the other things he's doing. So, good news for Austin. And again, I'm looking forward to the NFL offseason. We talked about this before. There's going to be changes. We talked about Dan Orlovsky maybe changing roles. But more importantly for NFL fans out there, what's going to happen to your favorite team? I think there's going to be a lot of changes. We're seeing the quarterback market that some quarterbacks are going to become available. We're seeing the receiver market. Some receivers are going to be available. Probably the biggest name overall is Cleveland Browns star Myles Garrett, who's asked for a trade. Hearing the Browns are publicly saying they're not going to trade him, but a lot of people behind the scenes say they have to. What else is going to happen here? So I'm just intrigued to see what happens in the offseason. ESPN had a power rankings the other day for where we're at right now, but I'm assuming to see a lot of changes there because there's going to be changes coming up. So let me know what you think about the NFL offseason. What's your team? What do you hope happens? What do you want your favorite team to do? All right. Well, thanks for checking us out here on View from the Pew, the Sports Edition for February 12th. I'm Chris Pugh. Be sure to subscribe. Give us a like. And thank you for always checking us out. Have a great day, everybody.